No-highlight 2956 says, I've kept something secret. My older sister stole my brother's motorcycle and sold it over 40 years ago. I never told my brother because I was afraid of my sister. She's a psychopath. She admitted to me that she believes she is. Now we are getting ready to settle our parents' estate, and I believe my brother needs to know how evil she is. Should I tell him?
Whew. Wow. 40 years of history to this one.
40 years ago, that motorcycle was stolen. Do you just forgive and forget that? You know, are you a different person? If is it like Theseus's ship, where all the pieces of you have been replaced every 7 years? If all the cells in your body, all the atoms have been transferred through? No, because the neurons, I think, always stay. So the brain, the mind of the person who did that is still the same. Is character the same?
Well, I don't think you can forgive and forget if you don't know. If you never knew that it happened. Like, how can that person really truthfully know their siblings when they're missing a piece of information? They've been missing a piece for that long. I mean, I certainly understand the temptation at this point, given that so much time has passed, to just be like, all right, well, let the bygones be the bygones. But especially since this task ahead of them of dividing up their parents' estate is related to who gets what, I feel like this is kind of the perfect time to tell them and then maybe allow that to get evened out.
Right. A motorcycle's worth of extra estate can go to your brother out of your sister's share. I think that would be the fairest thing.
Yeah.
Not even counting interest in how much better a motorcycle would be to a young person probably than somebody 40 years later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fear is the sister might retaliate, right?
Right. She said she's
sister
afraid.
Might take something. Sister is a self-admitted psychopath. Doesn't feel empathy or remorse.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, how can the sister take advantage, do you think, of the estate settling? Like, ask for something to be in her name that she promises to give to the brother later?
Yeah, it could be.
I'll just trust that the asker knows of a situation that makes this important if they're asking. Like, it seems like relevant information to give to the brother.
Yeah, I mean, so I have had the experience with my siblings who are half siblings that are older than me, like 17 and 20 years older than me. When my dad and my mom, that is not their biological mother, downsized several years ago, we had to go through all of the stuff that they weren't taking with them and split it up among us. So they hadn't passed or anything. But it was a really arduous task. And I could imagine that if you had to do that with people that you didn't feel like you could trust, or you didn't have all the information on them that you needed, that would be scary. I mean, you know, if one of my siblings was a self-described psychopath, I think you'd have to be a lot more vigilant about like how that process is going down from how it's being organized in logistics to how it's actually being carried out, who gets what, and how do we make sure that it's somewhat equitable and that people sort of get the things that they actually want, either because they're significant to them or because they're of value. And I think what we did was we had my sister, a very organized, non-psychopath, had photographed, everything was photographed and put on an online album on Facebook. And I think she created a spreadsheet even. And, you know, we each kind of went through and decided independently, like, what were the things that we individually liked. And then the things that were multiple people wanted, we had a system of like, each of us got a pick and we got to go in order.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was stressful and exhausting without any issues like secrets and, psychopathy. So
yeah. So I think tell the brother what happened, and explain why you were afraid to tell him in the past.
Yeah.
Some threat of retribution. And I think you can ask the brother not to reveal that he knows this if there's still that threat. It's just better for him to know, and you guys have kind of a 2v1, and he has all the information, isn't trusting her over you. It may be tempting for him to confront her about this or to try and settle that score, but if you feel like you're threatened by your sister still, or she might do something criminal, something vengeful, to strike back at you for revealing that, then you could ask for secrecy.
I would imagine that since 40 years have passed and
40 years,
the sister doesn't have that much empathy, doesn't have remorse, probably it wouldn't be. I mean, I have no clue. I don't know you guys. I don't know your relationships. But my thought is that probably at this point to her, it's maybe a non-issue. But if that fear, is still alive for you, it may not be. Maybe you were afraid at the time 40 years ago, and I'm sure a lot's changed. I think that is an evaluation that is going to dictate how to handle this. Is like, what is your active concern about, rupturing a relationship with her or your brother in this moment, going into this estate division. And again, just knowing that it's an exhausting experience, I think maybe carve out as much time as you can and take things a little at a time, especially when you're dealing with things that are emotionally heavy. Like I am assuming potentially your parents have passed. And so each item to go through carries a lot potentially of weight in terms of the memories that it has associated with it. And the, just the value or the significance in your life. And each of you will have very different, associations with different objects and different parents. And I think it's really important, especially, for you and your brother, to be mindful of just how intense that process already is. And I don't know to what extent your sister is going to be able to, engage in it emotionally the same way, but trying to start out with, okay, we're all on the same team here. We want to get through this, and we want to do it with as little strife and conflict as possible. Let's try to be on each other's team as much as we can and start out with a foundation of honesty.
So do you recommend talking about the motorcycle in front of the sister?
Again, I think it depends on what is their relationship now, and what is the relationship with the brother now. If nobody's,
I think tell him in private. Yeah,
I think if nobody's really super close, even if there isn't active fear, then it might be better to just do it separately. I think that's probably a safer bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for this question. No highlight. Let's start our show.
Let's do it.
Free advice.
Free advice.
Free advice.
Free advice.
Free advice. Free advice. Free advice. Free advice. Would you like free advice? Free advice. Free advice. Free advice. Free advice. Forever. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. We are the Free Advice Podcast hosts. I'm Rob Zaleski, and that over there...
Over here is Morgan Beard.
Is... Yes.
Over here in a totally different room.
Yeah. Well, COVID times.
Yeah.
Whatnot. Well, go ahead.
You can cut this if you don't want to reveal it, but sometimes we get together in person. But today we are not, because I woke up with a scratchy throat, and I was really sad about that because it's fun when we can record in person. But obviously, if there's any kind of like health threat we don't. And I think it's just dry air and lots of air conditioning, but, better to be safe than sorry.
Everybody, I think, this year has got to be just ready for a last-minute cancellation because somebody has even the tiniest sniffles. I think it's just the way of the 2020 coronavirus season is like, okay, all plans are tentative.
Yeah. And I think, too, that, like...
if they're indoors, especially.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that should be more of the culture. I know you said this in the past, like wishing that was more of the social norm to feel not weird about backing out of something because you're not feeling well. I remember like as a kid in school, even if I was feeling sick, I always felt like, oh my God, like, or at work, when I was older, like I have so much to do. I can't miss school or I can't miss work. And just feeling that pressure to go in no matter what and get stuff done no matter what and never rest or take it easy. And I think that is just so backwards. And I hope that the COVID era at least leaves us slightly with a remnant of like being able to take health concerns more seriously and really take time we need to recover.
Sometimes, though, you're part of a team that's planning something and really everybody has to be there for it to work. Like, I was in like a play and I was like, there's 10 people in this play. We all got to be here each night that there's a performance scheduled. Some of these are months in advance.
Yeah.
What are the odds that somebody maybe gets sick or something happens that prevents somebody from coming? But we all did it. It happened. And if you have if you're nauseated or if you're whatever it is, I think you just show up and do it anyway. And that's the only way for it to work.
Well, sometimes you can't. I mean, depending on how physical it is, like depending on how shitty you're feeling and how physical the task is, like sometimes you just can't. Or, you're like, well, I would come if I could get more than a yard away from the toilet without throwing up or shitting everywhere. That's not what's happening to me right now, but
right.
Just saying.
That's been a really rare occasion in my life.
Same.
And I think somewhat under my control. It was probably alcohol related if I was really throwing up a lot.
You could have
I've had like a stomach flu
poisoning
a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hasn't happened much. And then it's like, well, then eat safer foods, don't go to crazy food left on the counter Mexican joint at 3 a.m. and eat a bunch of that. Instead, like, pick up some grocery store stuff and just eat that right before.
Well, I've gotten violent food poisoning, it's always been traveling. It's always been like abroad. It's like, I ate some weird pastry on a Chinese airline and now I'm in bed for a day.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, dude. Oh, they tasted so good going in and then not such a good thing.
How did they taste coming out?
Well, I didn't taste. I guess I was shitting, so I wasn't tasting it.
Sure. So how did it taste coming out the other end?
I didn't put my nose and mouth near my shit. This was in high school, so I can't really remember. But I also got food poisoning when I was studying abroad on a trip to Istanbul. That I had just eaten a veggie kebab. It seemed super safe, just vegetables, maybe cheese. I don't know. Violently ill. That was like, couldn't leave the hostel. We had to check out. And I was like, well, I can't. Can't check out. I think it happened again.
Here another night.
Yeah, I think it happened to me in Peru. I guess like I probably get sick everywhere I go.
A food that you associate with getting sick from it, and then you've reintroduced it back into your...
Yes.
What was the food?
Okay.
And what was that first time back like?
I don't know about first time back, but pad thai. I eat pad thai fairly frequently. However, the last time I ate pad thai, I got sick.
Oh, no.
And I got sick one other time from pad thai in college. And so it's just been these like sporadic times where pad thai has made me like very sick. But what I did was just kind of go off of it for a little while. Like Thai is not calling out to me at all as a cuisine right now because the last time I had it, I got sick. But I'm sure in a couple months I'll be like, oh my God, I could really go for some pad see ew right now, like or some red curry,
Well,
and I'll be fine.
It's different from Thai.
It is, but like I think that the radius of closeness to the offending food just gets smaller and smaller until you're like, okay, I can just have it again, you know?
I get it. Get pad thai with a different meat on top. Get it from a different restaurant next time. Then
Right. But right now
see.
it's like, I don't
Until
even
you've
want Thai
honed
food at
in.
all.
Okay, you tiptoe back to pad thai.
Yeah. Tiptoe. Yep.
Well, I have some advice that I'd like to ask you for,
Fuck yeah. Lay it on me.
and it's culinary.
It's culinary.
I got
Okay.
some live herbs. I got a live herb potted plant. It says it's got 6 gourmet herbs in there, including shit like marjoram and lemon thyme, but I can't identify those. Pretty much I've got a lot of
Can't
mint
identify
because
them.
mint is, yeah, I think it's all a lot of mint, and then there's definitely rosemary, which I love just to sprinkle on myself or get some of its juice. And,
Sprinkle
Really,
on yourself?
well, just break a piece of rosemary and rub it on your skin and then smell that patch of skin. It's
Oh,
just,
I
I
got
love
you.
it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, you seasoning yourself to eat?
What can I mint up? I've got spear and peppermint.
Okay.
I don't know when to use which. I feel like most food uses spearmint instead of peppermint. But yeah, what can I add some mint to, or even fresh rosemary? I've only ever really used dry rosemary from a little glass bottle. And what can I make more interesting with my live spices that I can pluck right off of the plant and plop onto the plate?
Okay. So, as far as the mints, I would say just go with your gut as far as differentiating peppermint and
Put it in
spearmint.
my drink.
I was about to say,
I'll tell
lemonade?
you what I did.
oh, well,
I took a sprig of...
can you give me your advice? Actually, I'm just going to tell you what I did.
How about you shut the fuck up trying to answer the question that I'm asking myself? I took a sprig of spearmint and I put it right into the mouth and into the can cap, the can, what do you call that? The little thing you can put on your thumb and flick, the opener of the can.
Yeah. Oh my God, you put in your LaCroix?
Can latch on the top of the LaCroix, so it's all
Yeah.
over your nose and upper lip when you're taking sips of the pure LaCroix.
Amazing.
Bubbly and minty.
Yeah.
Okay, now what were you going to say?
So I was going to say lemonade with mint, with a little mint.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
like
You know where
that.
they do that at Tender Greens? Used to. I don't know if they do anymore, but
Yeah.
just that little addition makes it so much more sophisticated.
Yes. So yeah, you can do like a little cocktail, makes it very refreshing. The other thing I would recommend for mint is you could do a watermelon and feta salad with mint.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of balsamic sprinkled on there. So good. Yeah, so
Cool.
good.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're so welcome. Cucumber, you can also put in there.
What I've been experimenting with Persian cucumbers, or do you think English hothouse grown or just standard?
I don't think it matters.
This is some unsolicited advice. The premium cucumbers are worth it. They're not that much more, and you're like, whoa, this
disagree.
is a whole nother level of cuke.
I totally disagree. I think all cucumbers
Okay.
are so similar.
No, it's pretty different. Persian cucumber, it's crisper than the standard ass. An English hothouse is good too. Plus, you get to peel that plastic wrap that they put on it. I like that.
I guess I
Getting
meant like
individually-
my opinion. Like for me personally, I don't really differentiate between cucumbers and different uses.
Someday when this coronavirus thing is over, I'm going to have a cucumber party, blind cucumber test party. And people are going to be suspicious. They're going to be like, why do you need to put the blindfold out and make us open our mouths?
And you're going to put something cucumber-like in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to microwave all the cucumbers. So,
So their skin
so they're
temperature.
about body temperature. Yeah. Just so that there's not any bias. Give them each a fair shake.
There's no bias. Right.
No chewing allowed.
Make sure you really give them a good shake.
Yeah.
Touch the balls. I mean, kiwis.
Why would there be kiwis?
Because that's the thing that would be like the most like hairy balls.
I mean, I don't want to reveal my ball size on air, but those are some big balls.
Kiwis?
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, like, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Okay, maybe there's some kind of mini kiwi.
Yeah. Those coronavirus fruits. What are those called? Is it a dragon fruit?
Fruits.
No, it's not a dragon fruit. It's smaller than that. It's like a lychee.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know of this.
Lychee, I think.
Yeah. And I've heard
they've
of
got
lychee.
all the hooks. They're like red, and they look like they just have a nasty, wiry, pubic, barbed wire forest on them of like blackish hooks. And then you peel them off, and there's a cream white colored little jelly surrounding a pit. That
does not sound appetizing.
It's like an eyeball. It's like an eyeball in there.
Yeah, it doesn't sound.
It's
good.
pretty good.
Okay,
it's pretty good.
That's cool. So
but that's
real quick,
my nomination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, I want to tell you about the rosemary, and then I want to get into the questions that are not from us.
But if you think of any other ball-like fruits, please write us at freeadvicepodcast@gmail.com.
I just want to say also, I'm really disappointed, guys, that we haven't gotten any nudes.
Yeah.
Okay, so rosemary, I recently did, I made a steak, and I think I used rosemary and like lemon or something there.
Lemon on the steak?
Did I? Maybe not. No, I put that, I'm sorry. The potatoes, I did lemon and rosemary. The steak was just salt and pepper.
You know what I do to a steak?
What?
Sometimes I slice strawberries on it real thin,
Shut
put it
the
on top.
front door.
I know.
It's wild.
I do. I put the strawberries in the pan too, and then I put them on top, and they're kind of browned, and it's delicious.
Wow.
Strawberry steak. Think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've now thought about it.
Thanks. I'm gonna keep experimenting with the rosemary, places you don't even think it belongs.
Like on cucumbers.
Like on cucumbers, sure. Mint definitely belongs there.
Yeah.
All right.
So we did get 2 responses.
Oh yeah. What do we get?
From last
What
week.
did people from last week say?
All right.
Give me
So
a quick refresher on the questions. Too,
so
I don't remember everybody's
Peachy
name
Melon,
always.
who
Peachy Melon asked what?
Yeah, we answered their question first, and she was saying that she was having sex with someone who she really liked, but was wondering on how to improve the sex. And she just said, really enjoyed your podcast. Thanks for the advice as well. Helped.
Oh, good.
Hell yeah. I am always excited to hear when someone has listened, and, you know, especially if we help them out, because, you know, we still like to hear that stuff. You know, we're very grounded about our advice giving. We need to know. We need to hear from the people. So hearing from the people, the person who, the throwaway account that posted the question titled "Bad Idea" about posting nudes on Reddit said, "Fuck off."
Okay.
So, yep.
I theorize that person might be in an emotionally volatile moment and lashing out at us, and we don't have to let that. We don't have to internalize that criticism. We don't actually have to fuck off. Let's go about our merry way.
I mean, I don't even really know that I would interpret it as like criticism, because it just kind of seems like they were like, I don't want to know what you have to say at all, rather than I heard what you said and fuck you, you know?
But you think because it's coming at them in a podcast?
I don't
format?
know. I don't know what the fucking off issue is. Like, if it's like...
Because they asked a question, maybe they should fuck off.
Yeah, like, fuck off, take your nudes somewhere else. No. Yeah, no, I mean, my suspicion is maybe that they think that we were not serious. So what I wrote...
Oh, we're
what
serious.
we write, we're very serious. What we write when we tell someone that we featured their question on the podcast is, you know, hey, my co-host and I selected your question answer on the podcast, free advice. We tell them the time code and would love for you to check it out, and we send them the link. So it could be that they feel like it wasn't genuine or something, that maybe we were trolling them. Because it also, their question was sensitive, you know, it was about feeling that they wanted to make sure that their private material remained private. So maybe that's it too. Maybe they're like, why would you read that question on a podcast?
Okay.
But I mean, they're anonymous anyway. I mean, they use a throwaway account and it's gone now. So anyway, I wish that person the best, and I enjoyed answering the question. So, you know, no loss here. But
Let's wait for more negative feedback before we change anything about our question selection process.
Yes, if you have anything negative to say, please let us know. We want to know the negative, we want to know the positive. We want to know the nitty and the gritty, all the shit.
I'm compelled to answer more questions about nudes now to see if that's a universal reaction to get to answering those questions.
Yeah, we can start collecting data specifically on that. So what kind of questions we got today, Rob?
All right. We got one here
Okay.
that's from At.Mdligirl.
Ooh.
At.Mdligirl asks. At.Mdligirl asks, I'm a female that matched with a male on Bumble.
Awesome.
We both matched, meaning we both liked each other. But the time ran out for a response. Would it be weird to DM him through his Instagram? I feel like it is a very male thing to do, but kind of want to break the standards. Or does this make me look bad?
Break those standards, At.Mdligirl, At.Mdligirl.
You're on Bumble.
Yeah.
You have permit. He's on Bumble. You guys both have expressed by being on that platform that the old way of guys pursuing girls and making the first move is stupid. So
Yep.
you keep running with that spirit, especially with somebody that you met on Bumble. DM him. Get in there.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing to say, too, is that just a little bit of background on how Bumble works for those of you who may not know. Basically, the premise of Bumble is that women message first, and they have 24 hours to do so once you get a match. So you get a message that, okay, you and this other person both mutually liked each other, and then you have 24 hours as the female to initiate a conversation. During this window, they cannot do anything. They can't initiate a conversation at all. So if you are the female in this situation, you guys matched, and then the 24 hours ran out, that's it. You know, you don't know if he would have sent a message. Like sometimes... I'll match with someone and then decide, oh, you know what? I looked back at their profile and I'm actually not that interested. So I won't send a first message. If he were then to DM me, it's a little bit of a different dynamic because theoretically I've allowed that window to pass on purpose. But for you as the woman, and you wanted to initiate a conversation, but you accidentally let the window pass, you don't know what he would have done in that period of time. I think 100% go for it. 100% go for it. The standards are just old news, old bullshit, traditional people. We don't need that shit. Guys like forward girls, and if they don't, then they're not the guy for you. And if that's the girl that you want to be. I mean, I'm very open. I'm very forward. I just say what's on my mind, and if you're not down with that, okay, bye. Like we're not compatible.
Yeah. And looking bad, even if say that he has a negative reaction to it, what do you really have to lose? It's not like this is somebody who's already a fixture in your group of friends who's going to go talking about, hey, guess who DM'd me? Guess who sent me an Instagram message after missing the 24 hours where it would have been acceptable for her to message me? No. Just be like, whoops, checked Bumble late, but I think you're cute. Wanted to start up a conversation with you. You can use that word for word if you want.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next question.
Wow. That may be that may be world record speed that we've ever just case closed a question. Not outside of our retired segment lightning round.
That was a retroactive lightning round. I think that we can tag it as such, having seen how we did. Okay. This one comes from anxious 23-year-old. Is it selfish of me to pursue a career in music? I am 23 years old, playing guitar, and writing songs has always been my passion. And yet, there is so much injustice and so much wrong with the world right now that needs fixing. I feel obligated to do something that is directly helpful to others, i.e. social work or something. Is it selfish to focus on my music? Something deep inside me is urging me to do it, but I can't rationalize it because I don't see how music helps the world or others. So I am just kind of stuck in this in-between, indecisive state. Advice on how I can work through this and get unstuck?
Okay. I want to start, anxious 23-year-old. by asking you a question. I want you to think of the music that you've listened to in your life, or a favorite artist that has moved you or inspired you. And I want you to think about the impact that they've had on your life, or the way that other people talk about music and the impact that it has on them. I think sometimes we apply this distortion to ourselves, where we don't think that what we are going to do is going to be meaningful at all. We have this kind of imposter syndrome thing. And then we forget that, like, oh, the reason I love music, the reason I'm compelled to do it is because I've seen how much influence it can have, how much it can impact people on a big scale and deeply, and stick with them. Mm-hmm. So don't forget about music's power to do that. Bring to mind how much impact it's had on your life and other people in your life. And see if that helps you reframe your desire as not selfish at all, actually. I think identifying what is your gift and your passion, and then sharing that with the world in a way that's meaningful, is the least selfish thing you can do, because you're not choosing an easy path. You're not choosing to, like, walk down La La Land lane and have money thrown at you. You know, you have to work really hard.
Or like to fill out a form and get a regular check for showing up at a certain place and doing a specific set of tasks, like a regular, you know, like a retail job, or like a job at a restaurant, or a job at a company. That's like not what you're signing up for on this road. It's going to be way more self-directed and confusing, and have a lot of moments that feel like a downgrade from what you had just done the day before, the week before.
Yeah. And so as far as what you're observing about just like what the world looks like these days, and how hard it is to feel like, oh my God, what am I doing to make a difference? Like that is very real. And I totally get that. So to give you a little bit of background on me, I feel very similar to your position. Like I really understand where you're coming from, and have faced a lot of the same conflicts. So I've always been an artist, and I've always been a helper, and tried to figure out how to do things that help other people in a meaningful way. So I have a master's in creative arts therapy, and I was working towards becoming a therapist, and I burnt out and became completely miserable. And then moved to Los Angeles and started life coaching. And I'm also a suicide crisis line volunteer. And, you know, we do this podcast. We answer people's questions. We try to help people out in our daily lives, try to be as involved in politics, you know, as we can stomach. And I have also rediscovered my passion for music throughout going through this process of healing myself and coaching myself. And it is very hard to marry my deep desire for the world to be a better place and to have a hand in that with my desire to do this thing that I love and have always known that I've loved. And I also had a program that it was very selfish. And how, you know, basically how dare I think that my voice should be heard, and that people should listen to me. And this thing is so showy and ostentatious and performative of, you know, getting on a stage and singing or dancing or whatever. But that's all bullshit. That's someone else not wanting you to shine. Trying to make you feel like it's wrong, just to prevent you from doing it, because maybe they couldn't do it. Maybe they didn't have the privilege to go out and do that, or no one saw them. No one made them feel gifted or special for the talents that they had. I don't know what your personal history is. I don't know what your relationship with your parents is like, or the extent to which music was encouraged for you as you were growing up. But all of those things can influence how you view yourself related to your music now as an adult. And I guess the ultimate advice I would have for you is find ways to do both. Find ways to make both things meaningful arms of who you are.
Yeah, I think my advice is no matter what, keep making music, even for small periods of time. If you have other priorities momentarily, don't treat this as an either or thing, or like you have to be whoever you idolize, maybe Carlos Santana. You don't have to be him for you to make meaningful contributions or for music to be meaningful to you or the people around you. It's a broad field and topic. You can try and make radio songs or songs that people play at parties, or you can make music for film or games or advertisements, or you can make up songs in person for children that are disturbed. You can sing a lullaby that's personalized to a kid, makes them laugh when they're having a tough moment. Not all these, like that last one, probably not getting paid for. You could be a street musician. You can combine music with magic or comedy or lecture.
You could be a music therapist.
Yeah, you could be a music therapist. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a big field, and I think it is a necessary something that people. When Morgan was talking about like ways that music has been impactful to you in your life, I think I'm often thinking of like the sad songs that were comforting to hear when I was sad or going through a rough moment, but also the cha-cha slide when you're at a big event and everybody to the left, to the left, to the right, the Cupid Shuffle. You're 23, so you're probably more of a Cupid Shuffle than cha-cha slide guy. That's important stuff. People like to come together and move together, and that creates a feeling of community, and that celebration, I think, is important. So even things that are like seen as poppy or commercial, that's all got value too. Just to like something that you can sing that your parents and grandparents can sing along to too, and it's like something that later will help you connect to memories of when you were younger. The nostalgic, like it's a key to locked memories sometimes to hear a certain song, and then you're back to that place and that time and the people that you knew then. So music can connect people to previous versions of themselves. It can help them recognize feelings that they didn't have access to, and it can get people moving and exercising and healthier if it compels them to move their bodies. I think these are all solid ways that music helps people.
Yeah. One thing that has always been a part of it for me and continues to be a part of it for me, and sometimes I think is helpful to think about it this way because it takes some of the pressure off. Use music as your own personal healing process or your own personal vehicle of self-expression. Write things that are meaningful to you in this moment and that help you to express yourself, explain yourself, feel your emotions more deeply, work through them and process them. And, write lyrics that really just nail how something feels for you right now. Because then, worst case scenario, it has helped you and been beneficial for you and helped you to be a better, more connected, more present, alive person so that you can go about your life understanding people better, helping people better, etc. But my guess is if you make music that you can connect to that deeply and that is that raw and personal, that's the shit that other people will connect to too. But sometimes if you start by just having the idea of like, you know what, I'm just going to do this for myself, or I'm just going to sit with my guitar and, try to play a melody that I connect with, you're going to stumble into something that is universal, more so than if you sit down with it and you go, oh my God, I've got to write a hit, or I've got to make it commercially accessible, or I've got to make money for this. I got to put so much pressure on it to be X, Y, or Z. I think that then you end up kind of in a trap where it's not even fun. And then it rarely is something when you come at it from that energy that can be felt by someone else in the energy that you want them to feel it. I'm describing all this stuff so like esoterically. But I think some of it for me is just like, this question is so close to home that it's hard to answer because I just see myself so much in it. Whereas a lot of other questions we get, it's at least initially seems far enough removed because there's a piece of us that we can speak to in any of these questions, but things that seem more far from us, we can more easily maybe pull ourselves out of it and give objective advice. But this is a tough one.
I've asked myself this question hundreds of times.
Yeah.
This year, in particularly because I see so much suffering going on in the world. And then I'm just feeling like foolish about picking something like music as a primary pursuit. I think an important warning is don't think that don't make it your only value or your only contribution as a human, because that puts so much weight on it. And then it's like every time that you make something that you don't like or it's not going the way that you want,
you're so identified with it.
Oh, I'm a waste. Yeah. Don't wrap your whole sense of worth in the music that you're making.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. And one exercise that I would recommend for you is to think about what are 8 areas in your life that you want to put your time and energy in and make a meaningful contribution in. And it may seem, okay, that's a really high number, but I want you to think really about even things that you may feel like are small or not sort of life calling things, but I want to spread love just through the way that I relate to the people in my immediate environment. Something like that. Like, I want to be a proponent of love. I want to be a proponent of harmony. I want to, X, Y, or Z. I want to model taking good care of myself physically by eating well, anything like that. And just get a well-rounded wheel, basically, of these different things that you want to reach out into the world and do, and ways that you want to make your mark. Because like Rob said, if you try to only do it through music, you're going to drive yourself absolutely nuts, and then you're not going to enjoy it. And then what's the point of doing something that you're passionate about and enjoy and wringing it dry?
Right.
It's not selfish to try to do something that you enjoy and get pleasure on this earth just because there are a lot of people suffering right now. I have struggled with that idea for years, that I don't deserve to have good things because other people don't. And I've just drowned myself in guilt over it. And all it does is keep me down. All it does is keep me from having the energy to make meaningful contributions. It isolates me and makes me feel really alone and shitty. And it's easy. It's easy to think that way. But it's important to remind yourself by asking other people that it's not true. It's a distortion. You should be going out there and trying to live your best life. Do no harm, of course. And I think it's good on you to be thinking about, how is this going to connect to the global society that we live in? How is this going to have an impact? But don't squash yourself preemptively because other people are suffering. That's always going to be the case.
Yeah. You can do both.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, anxious 23-year-old. I'd love to hear something you're working on. If you feel like emailing us, just a half-baked tune, a sketch, anything like that.
Yeah, it's a scary thought to do that, but please do it.
Yeah, come on. We'll be nice. We won't play it on the air without your consent. So thank you. Okay, here's one. New question. This one's from Total Wipeout 8.
Ooh.
I can't decide a name for my shubunkin fish. What?
What
Shubunkin.
Can you spell it? Can you spell that?
Shubunkin. I think I'm pronouncing. I haven't really heard it said by another person. This is a word that I came across from reading. So, shubunkin.
Wow, I'm gonna Google
fish.
that. I want to know what that fish looks like.
Well, you're about to get a description.
Oh, okay. But I'm
Courtesy
gonna
of
look at
Total
it also.
Wipeout 8.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We recently bought new fish, and we claimed our fish later that day. Yeah, okay.
It's cute. It's cute.
My one has an orange head with gray stripes. I'm thinking about Dorito as his name,
Oh my
but it
God.
doesn't seem to fit. Any ideas? Excuse me? Doesn't seem to fit? Why? Why? Because a Dorito is dry?
He doesn't swim like a Dorito would swim. That's such a cute name, but I know what you mean about it not fitting.
Dorito the fish?
It's hilarious.
Because
it's awesome.
It's an edible thing, and you don't want the people to think of the fish as like something to eat? Okay.
Maybe they mean
All
it just when you look at the fish, it doesn't fit their character. I've had that issue.
Orange head. Didn't you hear about the orange head?
Okay, but like, so I have a rabbit, and I gave him a name at one point that I felt that I liked. And then after living with him for a couple days, I was like, this just doesn't work. It's not sticking. So I get it. Sometimes it just, you have all the plans in the world, and Dorito is like such a hilarious name, and you want it to work, and it just doesn't. And sometimes you got to accept that. But it is a cute name.
Dory is a famous fish.
A famous fish.
Finding Dory. Yeah, Dory.
Tigger?
From Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Dorito could be like a little Dory, and maybe that's why it doesn't fit, because that fish was blue.
Tigger is a suggestion I have based on the stripes and the orange.
Tigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Orangina.
Do we know the gender of the fish?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I'm thinking cheese ball is a good one. Well, I guess
Ooh.
if you have the thing against foods. But.
What about Zeebs, short for zebra because of the stripes?
Oh, Zeebs. I don't like the way that feels in my mouth.
How does it feel in your mouth? Fishy?
I think Zeebs, it's too sibilant. It starts with a buzz and ends in a hiss.
Oh,
Yikes.
interesting.
I like something round for this.
Zobs.
Shubunkin. Bunky. Why not Bunkster?
Bunkster. I don't like Bunkster, I'm going to go ahead and say.
What about Bunkball?
You wanted to end in ball.
Well, I haven't seen the shape of the fish, but I'm imagining it being kind of a sphere.
No, it kind of looks like an extravagant goldfish. Like, it looks like a goldfish swam into an ink spill.
How about Bungalow?
Ooh, that's cute.
Thank you.
You can call it Lolo. It's a cute fish, man. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like be with the fish for a few days. Don't rush it, because you got to live with this name for however long these fish live. Could be a few years, could be 6 minutes. And just try on different things. Let its personality and its kind of rituals and the things that it does like sink in, and try different things on. Give him a name for a day. See how it feels. And then if it doesn't fit, okay, what's next? What else do we think? And do little word associations, like kind of like we were just doing. Like, okay, shubunkin, so maybe bunker, bunk balls, or whatever you said. Bubby.
Bunk ball.
And just see what sticks and start a list, and then you can scratch things off that don't work and circle things that do work, and eventually the right name will merge with this fish, but it could take some time. I know it's weird during that time where you're like, it's just kind of this identityless fish, but
yeah, but also fish don't really respond to names, so it's more for your sake than its sake, right? What? I'm not ruining somebody's dream here by saying that.
no, but
Fish
there's a little sad about
don't
it.
come to you when they're called. It's for you to think about the fish, and for you to bond with it by differentiating it from other fish by having this name for it. And I recommend something with round, plosive b or p sounds. rather than something with a ka or a hiss. Did you ever, that Bobo and Kiki experiment?
No, what's that?
That just had two shapes.
Oh,
Two shapes,
yes.
and asked people
Yes.
across cultures which one's Bobo and which one's Kiki, and the jagged one is Kiki. Everyone agrees. And the round one is Bobo, and that's even reflected in the letters. B is two big boobs, and Kiki is like a couple of hard dicks, spikes, knives that are shooting out in every direction. And the K.
Yeah. Oh, man. I just found a picture of one of these fish, and its head is all like bubbly in a way that looks like it's not supposed to look like that. Its head looks like a parakeet. It's real weird.
Yeah, I had a fish that died of a brain tumors like that when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder if it's that type of fish.
What was the fish's name?
Ooh. Yeah, I hope my mom has turned this one off by now, because I don't know. Was it George? Was it George Foreman? I don't remember. Was it Georgina? Georgina was the pool cleaner.
Okay.
I don't know.
How about Slurp? What do you think of
That
that?
was Regina. Slurp? Mm-hmm. I do kind of like that.
Okay.
You could slurp up the fish. This could be a fish that you let in your mouth sometimes and then spit back into the tank.
Oh, I just found another picture of a bubbly head one. Oh, this is freaking me out.
Okay.
I
pray
can't
that
tell
your
if it's
fish is
bad.
well.
I can't tell if it's a
Little
bad thing.
Dorito. I hope that little Bunky doesn't get brain cancer.
Yeah. Actually, the more you say Dorito, again, I haven't seen the fish, but I think it's such a cute name.
Dorito's a great name. Especially if you call him Wet Dorito sometimes. Soggy Dorito over here. You could complain about him being a soggy Dorito.
Does Nacho
It's a
fit?
soggy Dorito. Nacho. Ooh.
We'll see. Okay, well,
Yeah.
definitely let us know what you end up naming this fish, and please send a picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love that.
Free advice.
To freeadvicepodcast@gmail.com.
Hasn't changed.
That's where you can send it. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay. I think that's the end of our questions today.
Yeah. We did it.
Good work.
We gave the
Number
free
68.
advice. 68. So that means next week, send in your questions about oral sex for us. I would like to personally solicit questions from people that we know for this special occasion of episode 69. Rim job questions are okay also.
Yeah. Anything that's using your mouth.
Downstairs. For downstairs
It could
stimulation.
even be upstairs, I think.
Okay.
I think if we're doing a nipple sucking question,
Yeah,
that'd
that
be
definitely
fine.
counts. Yeah. Yeah, just
Finger and toe
nothing
sucking.
above the neck.
What about ears?
Okay. If you're gonna stick your tongue, swirl it around someone's ear canal, that's definitely acceptable. I mean, as a question,
Yeah.
we might advise you not to do it. Who knows?
Why? What's the
I wouldn't
danger?
like that. So, okay. So my mom used to plant these like really loud,
Wet willies?
really wet kisses like right on top of my ear, and it hurt.
Oh, that's like a sound effect kiss.
Oh my God, it was so loud right on the center of my ear, and it would just be like wet and like hot and loud, and so like I get a little weird about like wetness around my ear.
Sorry.
Thank you for saying. I think it's a form of abuse.
Yeah, it is kind of. It is like a, hey kid, I'm going to lick in your
So
ear.
loud. They were just so loud. Anyway, it's really taking me
It's
back.
squeaky. Women have all these chemicals on their faces.
Get out of here, chemical
But
women.
as children, as children, you're such a natural, pure thing, and then these old ladies with their sticky chemicals and powders and scented ointments covering their skin. They're like, "Yeah, I'm going to taint you. I'm going to contaminate you, right in the ear,
Scary.
right next to your sensitive, where all your sensors are, your taste, smell, and
Yeah.
sight and sound sensors. I'm going to plant a big bomb of contaminant right there."
And you better like it. You better not back away.
Yuck.
So, just a slice of my
All right,
childhood.
everyone. That's a universal experience. It's very relatable.
Thanks.
Hey, there's a song there for anxious 23-year-old.
Yeah.
The unwanted kiss of a child.
Or cucumber test. Surprise penis cucumber taste test.
Sure.
That is a hit. It just rolls off the tongue.
A little less relatable for the masses, I think, than being kissed against your will as a child.
Yeah, sure. All right,
You
guys.
get a little bit heavier each verse.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
tired.
guys.
I'm ready to go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Go. Throw in the towel. Thanks for listening, guys.
Good night.
Morgan, sweet dreams.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.